we can write a vision board or make a vision board. We can write out our vision. We can write out our goals. That does not mean we're going to achieve them. How am I going to lose a pound, right? What am I doing? What am I doing today? Goal achievement requires two things. It requires energy and productivity. Welcome to the High Vibe Life podcast, where we are obsessed with all things manifestation, neuroscience, personal growth, and quite simply, living a life beyond our wildest dreams. I'm Moira Casaba, author, speaker, podcaster, manifestation, and mindset master. Since getting sober 25 years ago, I've helped tens of thousands of women break through and achieve massive levels of wealth, joy, and freedom. Now it's your turn. Let's dig in. Welcome back to the High Vibe podcast, you guys. I am so excited. It's 2025. It's January. This is first of all, I think it's my year because I think it's your year, but it's our year that we are going to crush some goals, realize some dreams, manifest all the things. But listen, we're a few weeks in, and our motivation and our willpower and all of those things that seem to carry us into those first couple weeks of the year start to fall by the wayside, right? Maybe we did a vision board. Maybe we mapped out our goals. Maybe you were listening to all these podcasts and you got super clear on what you wanted to create in 2025, but you haven't moved the needle on it. I want to break down kind of a four-part, I always think of it as like a four-part pyramid or triangle of what I want you to think about when you think about your life. And what we're going to break down is how these things differentiate from each other, all right? So your purpose, your life's purpose, your vision, your goals, and then what I call the IPAs, the income producing activities, but really they're the habits or the actions that are underneath all of this, right? And so it's really important to understand the difference between these things so that you don't kind of blur the lines and get everything confused and, you're laser focused on one, but maybe not the other, and you don't realize how they all tie together. So let's start with your life's purpose. So here's the beautiful thing about your purpose, or AKA your mission, right? It never changes. It never really changes. So you can do the work around discovering, and we do this a lot in my 2% tribe. We kind of uncover and do the deep work with discovering your life's purpose or your mission. And it's really always been there, you guys. You probably already know what it is, right? I love to help people. I love to give people solutions. I love to equip them with solutions or practices or strategies or, different processes to help them just live a bigger, better life, right? So no matter where I've been in my life, whether I was doing that when I owned a Pilates and wellness studio, a cold pressed juice company, a coaching business, if I was teaching network marketing, what I really thrived on, what I knew I was here on this earth to do was to teach in some capacity, right? To teach and equip people to live a better life so that they can achieve their dreams. And so no matter what business I've stepped into, it's so cool to know that your mission is the same. And it's really awesome to understand what your mission and your purpose is, because you might find yourself being called to something or an opportunity, being exposed to you or a door opening. And you're like, gosh, no, because that doesn't align with what I know my purpose is, what I know my mission is. And so that is a through line, right? They call it the red thread. That is never changing. It just emanates through every aspect of your life, or it should, right? So then we start to get a little bit more detailed as we move down. So the next level down, that's your vision. This is where I thrive. This is where I become known as the vision queen. And this is also where people get confused. They're like, well, wait, I thought, how do goals differ from vision? Well, that's what we're going to break down. So your vision, I always say it's all the things. It's all the juicy things, right? And to break it down a little bit more concretely for you, I love to kind of guide people through a process of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can find that on my YouTube. You can find that in past podcast episodes, my vision mapping method process. But really, in a nutshell, what you're thinking about is the different categories of your life, right? What do you want your life to look like financially? What do you want your life to look like spiritually, relationally? What kind of home do you want to live in? What kind of car do you want to drive? All of the things. I mean, it's literally everything. It's all encompassing kind of this map of your life and what you want every area to look like and to feel like. Now, your goals are absolutely in there. Your goals are part of your vision, right? And so when we take this one step further down, we get into, so we have purpose up at the top, then we have vision. Now we're going to extract, right? You're extracting your top 3 goals, or, you might have 1 goal or 2 goals or 5 goals. I always love to have 3. But think about, from your purpose, you're extracting your vision. From your vision, you're extracting your goals. Now, goals differ from our vision because they're like 3 lines, right? So here's kind of the litmus test for a goal. You want your goal to be able to be SMART, right? We've all heard that. SMART is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And if you check all those boxes on having a SMART goal, then you can actually say, today was the day. Like January 20th, 19, good gosh, did I just age myself? 2026, right? Next year. I achieved the goal. I made it happen. I hit the New York Times bestseller list. I made 6 figures. I saved up $50,000. I lost 30 pounds, whatever it is. There's a day that you can go, today's the day I achieved that. Right? It's not a habit goal where you want to drink more water, right? You can't say, you could say I drank more water today than yesterday, but it's not an achievement, right? That's you can kind of mark on a calendar. So just remember, that's how specific and timely and attainable and realistic and all those things that you want your goals to be. So that's your goals. Now, guys, we can write a vision board or make a vision board. We can write out our vision. We can write out our goals. That does not mean we're going to achieve them, right? Like nothing about doing a vision board, nothing about writing your vision, nothing about getting clear on your 3 goals is going to make you actually achieve them, right? So what is going to make the difference between, person A who on January 1st writes all this out and person B who on January 1st writes this all out? Person A writes it but doesn't achieve anything. Person B writes it all out and achieves it all. What is the difference? The difference is the lowest layer. It's the action plan, right? You have to have the actions, the habits, and the things that you're going to do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. So we're reverse engineering it, right? If I want to lose 50 pounds in a year, I've got to lose 25 by July 31st. That means I have to lose 12 and a half by March 31st. And so you're reverse engineering that means that's 4 pounds by the end of January. That's 1 pound by the end of the first week in January. So you have to have those mile markers. But what is so important is how. How am I going to lose a pound, right? What am I doing? What am I doing today? Focusing on the goal doesn't make it happen. Me saying I want to lose 10 pounds, me even visualizing that doesn't make it happen. It's the habits and the actions that make it happen. And so it's important to have the goal and the vision, but then we have to just let that go and shift our focus to what are we doing? What are the habits that I need to check off on a daily basis to make sure I get there, right? So goal achievement requires 2 things. It requires energy and productivity, right? People that are productive are the ones that achieve their goals. And so I'm going to take this one step further. Now that we've broken down this pyramid of purpose, vision, goals, and habits or actions, I want you to think about focus, right? Productive people are focused. And this is where my three-step time hack system comes in, all of the things I teach around productivity. But think about focus. All right, so I want you to answer these 4 questions for yourself when it comes to this laser focus of your goals, aligning the actions to them, and trying to really be more productive and therefore create that focus for yourself. So number 1, what do you need to spend the majority of your time doing for this goal? What do you need to spend the majority of your time, guys? Because a lot of times we can either talk about it in an 8-hour workday or even a 18-hour awake day, part of the day, just the minus the hours we're not sleeping. We have all these hours and we might spend like 30 minutes trying to move the needle in the big goal that we have. What we really need to understand when it comes to focus and productivity is that number one, we need to spend the majority of our time going towards that goal, taking actions towards that goal, right? So what does that look like for you? If I wanted to be a top 10 podcast in the world, well, gosh, things better shift dramatically, right? Because as we are the top 1%, we are in the top 1% of all podcasts, but I don't spend 20, 30 hours a week on my podcast. I spend maybe 2 hours a week on my podcast. So the focus would have to shift, right? So question number one, what do you have to spend the majority of your time doing? Question number two, what do you need to stop doing? What do you need to stop doing in order to make this goal happen? What do you need to do less of? Part number two, to make this happen. And part number three of the same question, what do you need to delegate? Or really, what can you delegate so that you can shift back to question number one, spending the majority of your time doing the one thing that really matters, right? So that's question number one. Question number two. So question number one, what do you need to spend the majority of your time doing? Question number two, what do you need to stop doing? What do you need to do less of? What do you need to delegate? And then two more little questions to help you focus and prioritize. Question number three, what are the 5 major moves? And this is totally borrowed from my friend Brendan Burchard because I love him. We have lots of conversations about goal setting and productivity and focus and all of this. So if I'm here and my big goal is out here, what are kind of the 5 major jumps and leaps, moves that I need to make in order to achieve that, right? If I'm writing a book, it might be, well, I need to write a book proposal. I need to submit my book proposal to a lot of publishers. That proposal needs to be accepted. I need to write the book. I need to do this and that. So there's kind of these major moves that you need to make on your way to a goal, and we need to be clear on what those major moves are. And then here's your 4th question and last one. And this is so important because it's really how I look back at my own success and I'm like, gosh, I have really identified these people and done this in my own journey. And it is really the thing that has made all the difference. And that is, who are the people that have done what you want to do? List out 3 to 5 people that have done exactly what you want to do and reach out to them. And if you can't reach out to them, study them, right? Big world influencers, thought leaders, we can study how they got to be where they are, right? We can look at the roadmap, but there are so many people that have achieved what you want to achieve that are available to you that you can reach out and say, hey, can I send you an email with just a few questions? Could I get 5 minutes of your time? Now, just a little side note, whenever you're asking for something, also always try to deliver something back. How can you serve that person, right? And I know a lot of times we think, oh, little old me, I can't serve them. There's always a way to serve people in this world. So give in order to get, but study those people or reach out to those people and see what they did, see what their 5 major moves were, see what they were spending the majority of their time doing, see what they delegated, see what they stopped doing. And that roadmap is going to be so much more clear. You are going to be so much more focused, so much more productive. And I'm going to bring it right back to where we started. You're going to be so laser focused on those habits and those actions that those goals are going to happen. Your vision is going to come to life and you are going to be living a life on fire because you're going to be living in your purpose. And that's really how all the magic happens and comes together. So I hope that helps kind of these few weeks into January to help you just go back to the beginning when you were so motivated and so clear on your goals and your vision and just tease it out a little bit more. And guys, this podcast is not about listening passively. I hope to goodness that you are sitting there with a journal, putting pen to paper, answering these questions and putting things into action. I would love to hear from you guys. Just message me on Instagram, shoot me a DM, share this episode with your friends, somebody that would find it helpful, and we will see you next week.